So you've been to the gym, you've done your weights, you've done your cardio, but have you worked on your flexibility and mobility and done your stretching? Why is it important? Well, here's the thing. The more you do work on your stretching, flexibility, mobility, the more protected your joints will be. The more protected your joints are, the less time you will have off for injury. So you're going to be a more efficient gym goer or trainer. The other good thing is that by increasing your flexibility, mobility, you will increase your range of motion. And particularly for bodybuilders and weightlifters, this is amazing because you will build more muscle and you'll be more efficient and your time at the gym will be better spent. So can you really justify just doing a 2-minute stretch after a 2-hour gym class? If not, join me on the mat and we'll stretch. So as with all our practices, we're going to begin with 3 rounds of Wim Hof breathing. And in the breath hold, we're going to do this toe stretch. So we're going to sit on our heels and bend the toes back and sit into the toes. And put the hands behind the back in prayer position. Or if that's too much, hold onto the elbows. Or if that's too much, take a strap. What I'd like you to do is really get your heels into the thighs, because that will also massage out the bundle of nerve fibres that run down the back of the thighs, which can sometimes become constricted through tight muscles. Okay, let's start. Big belly breath, in and out. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. In and out. In and out. Keep going like that. Breathe in with me. We're going to do 30 breaths each round. And the first 2 rounds, we're going to hold our breath out for 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you need to hold your, if you need to want to hold it for longer than that, that's fine. Then you can pause the video and I'll give you the cue. And if you need to take a breath before that, that's also fine. Just take your recovery breath and then restart the breathing. So we're in and out, like waves on the shore. You're doing really well. Full belly breaths in to 100% and 70 out. You're doing super well. Keep going in and out. We've got 10 more in this round. In and out. In and out. Belly breath in and out. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. 5 more. In and out. Like the waves on the shore. Keep going. In and out. 2 more. Okay, and this is our last one. Biggest one yet. In we go and let all of this air out. And we're holding this breath, if we can, for 1 minute and 30. Or if you want to hold it longer, I'll give you the cue. If you'd like to pinch your nose shut here, that may help you from any air seeping into the nose. What I tend to do is put some pressure into the back of my face, and that stops the air seeping in. Also, if you need to swallow at any point during these breath holds, that's absolutely fine. Make this your practice. Don't sit there thinking you want to swallow and you can't, because you'll probably hold your breath for less time. So swallow, but do it by pushing some pressure into the front of your face. Really feel into the sensations during these breath holds. Tingling in the fingers of the feet, any lightheadedness in the head. Really feel into them. Focus on them. See if you can extend them. You've done 1 minute, well done. I'll give you a cue at 10 seconds if you want to pause the video. Keep going, you've done really well. Just focus. Focus on the feelings in the body. Ten seconds. You're doing so well. 5 seconds left. Ready? We're going to take that recovery breath in now. Push it all the way up into the head. Tense all of the muscles right up into the face and into the brain. And we're going to really decalcify that pineal gland by pushing that air up into the brain, forcing cerebral fluid. And out. Let it go. Round number 2. 30 more breaths. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Waving in and out. Like the waves on the shore, they're coming in and out. You can breathe in through the nose or through the mouth during this practice. I usually practice through my mouth because I find I can get more air in and I can hold my breath for longer. But if you ever feel panicky during the Wim Hof breathing, then it may be more sensible to breathe through your nose. If you want to do the breath lying down, absolutely fine. You don't have to do it sitting up. Just never do it driving a car, while standing or near water. Okay, keep going. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Waving in and out. In and out. This has got 10 more here. By doing these breaths before we stretch, you're really oxygenating the blood and you're just going to find you have a little bit more flexibility and mobility. So it's a great practice to practice. We've got 5 more. Great thing to do before a stretch session. 2 more. And this is our last one. Biggest one yet. In and out. Let it all out. And then let's just go inside now. Tingling in the fingers, toes, pins and needles, lightheadedness or ringing in the ears, whooshing sounds in the ears. Maybe you can hear your heartbeat. These are all good. It shows it's working and your body is going into hermetic stress, which is a controlled form of fight or flight. We're resetting your immune system and your homeostasis will be more efficient and switched on than ever before. You're doing really well. If you need to take a breath before I give the cue, do so and continue breathing. And I will give you a 10-second cue if you want to pause the video and take a longer breath hold. You've done 1 minute. Well done. Stay with me. Focus on the feelings inside. Any point you do need to lie down, if you feel a bit lightheaded, just do so and continue the practice lying down. It's absolutely fine. We've got 10 seconds here if you want to pause the video. 5 seconds. Ready to take that recovery breath? And in, push every muscle in your body up towards the brain, pushing cerebral fluid into the brain. Keep going, keep pushing, keep pushing. And let it go. Well done. Amazing. Let's go on to our third and final round. Belly, chest, head, let it go. 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 Keep going. You're doing super well. Like the waves on the shore, going in and out. In and out. In and out. Now remember, on this breath hold, we're only holding it for 1 minute, but we're going to do a toe stretch. So we're going to have heels into the back of the thighs and toes turned under onto the mat and arms behind the back, either in prayer pose or clasped at the elbows or held with a strap. So straight away, we're getting into the stretches. If you don't want to do that, or you want to take a variation, do push-ups or sit-ups or plank, you do that. This is your practice. This is your time. You've showed up. You make this your own. We've got 10 more breaths together. In and out. In and out. In and out. Belly, chest, head, let it go. Let's do these most we can, these last 5. Keep going. Biggest breaths yet. In and out. In and out. We've got 2 more. In and out. Make this the biggest one yet. Last one. In. All of the breath out. And then come into that toe stretch. So toes turned under. Sit that back onto the heels. Arms behind the back in prayer. Or to clasp the elbows. So straight away, Tilt the head back as well, so we're getting a thyroid stretch. So immediately we're stretching out the thyroid, parathyroid, the neck, opening the shoulders, stretching the arms, stretching back the hands and the fingers, stretching the toes. And we're really getting into those, the bundle of nerve fibres in the back of the legs, which very, very often can come constricted by tight glutes and tight hips. Just in itself, this is all-in-one exercise. You're doing really well. Let's see if we can hold this for the whole minute. 5 seconds left. And then come onto your knees and breathe in. Push this breath up into the head. Let's really, really, really detoxify and cleanse that pineal gland now. Well done. Keep going. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And let it go. Well done. Keeping your knees together now, I'd like you to fall back into a child's pose and we'll take some recovery breaths. So knees together, feet on the heels, and then fall forwards, forehead on the mat, arms stretched long, and now take the arms in a prayer position behind the head. And this will just start to stretch out the arms. We're stretching out the thighs here and the lower back, the neck, and now the arms. Straight away we're getting into our stretch practice. There's a really good compression in the hips here as well. Okay, and now we're going to rabbit pose. So hold on to your feet, come onto the top of the head and straighten out the legs to 90 degrees. Rabbit pose is just going to stretch out the cervical spine there. It's not somewhere we get into very often. It's a lovely stretch. Okay, amazing. And now come back into a child's pose and stretch over towards the left. So we're getting a stretch in the right hand side of the body. Come back to centre and we'll take it to the right. So we're getting a stretch in the left hand side of the body. Keeping the head on the floor and the heels next to the bottom. So the stretch is like happening throughout the whole body. We're stretching and compressing. Okay, come to all fours here. And we're coming into heart melting pose, puppy pose. So take the hands to the widths of the mat. Bring the head to the floor. And here we're getting a beautiful shoulder opener. Keep some weight into those knees. And we're getting a back bend. So a beautiful back stretch, heart opener, and a stretch in the arms. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe in all of these stretches. The more that we breathe, the more oxygen will go to these areas and the more mobility and flexibility we'll get. Come back up to all fours. And then take the left hand beneath the right. Stretch the right hand out and then stretch the left leg out to get a calf stretch. So push back into that calf. So we're getting a compression in the shoulder and the neck, and we're getting a stretch up the right hand side of the body and down the left leg. There's a lot going on. In all of these stretches, we will stretch more than one muscle group to make this practice very efficient. Well, let's change sides. So this time the right arm's going to go beneath the left, and the right shoulder and the right cheek come onto the floor. And we take the right leg back this time, pushing into that calf muscle. So we're getting a twist into the spine, so we're working the psoas as well. According to Ben Greenfield, the more we work out our psoas, which is very, very usually undeveloped, the longer we live. This is all good. Come back to all fours. Come to the front of the mat. I'm going to take cow face legs. So bend your right knee on the mat, your left knee on the mat, and put your right knee on top. So we're stacking our legs on top of each other, and we'll take a neck stretch that as well. So take the right arm out, tent the fingers, and then just gently pull down with the left hand on the neck. So you should be getting a stretch all up that right arm and into the neck. Be careful with your neck. And we're getting a really, really good glute stretch here. Often the glutes are responsible for tight hips. Let's change legs. So this time the right leg comes on the floor, the left leg stacks on top. So their knees are stacking on top of each other. If yours don't stack exactly on top of each other, it doesn't matter. Just go to where you can. And this time we tent the left fingers and we stretch out stretch the neck with the right hand. Gently, gently with the neck, please. And just keep breathing. Breathe into any sensations. And if you have any sharp pains, then just ease off. Great, right. Uncross the legs. Come to all fours. And make sure your shoulders are over your hands. And we're going to come into this cobra pose. Take the neck back if you can, because it's good to stretch the neck out. And we're also getting a thyroid and parathyroidal stretch, which will stimulate your metabolism. Make sure you keep some weight into the shoulders. Or you can do this. You can come into Sphinx pose if it's too much for the shoulders and the back. And then look carefully from one arm over one shoulder to the other. So if you're standing cobra pose with me, we look over the right shoulder, look over the left. So we're getting a mild twist in the spine and in the neck, but just be careful not to overdo it. And make sure you're not sinking into the shoulders. We don't want a shoulder injury here. Look back. One more stretch in that neck. Amazing. Okay, now come back into a downward dog. We're not going to do many downward dogs. Just walk it out. Stretch out those legs. But this in itself is a really good stretch. It's a heart opener, a back bend, and it's obviously a stretch down the hamstrings. And then take the feet over to the right. So we're getting a stretch down the left-hand side of the body. Hold it. Back to the centre and over to the left. So we're getting a stretch in the right-hand side of the body. And hold it. Back to centre. And then just hold the dog. And then take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And let's just hold this variation of locust pose. It's a really, really strong stretch here. Okay, now bring the knee to the floor and go onto the blade of your foot and open out that thigh. Getting a really good inner thigh stretch. Again, if you feel any sharp pains, then ease off. Okay, bring that back in and take hold of your back foot and take a body twist here. So we're pulling the back foot in and we're twisting to look over the right shoulder. Again, there's a lot going on here. We're not just stretching one muscle group at the same time. And now come into a full locust pose. So you can either stay on the elbows like this, or you can stay up on the hands if it's too much. And if you feel ready, you can come down onto the, bring your head towards the floor. This is a really strong stretch. So if you want to stay up on your hands, just take it to where you are comfortable. We don't want to pull anything. We just want to stretch. Okay, come back up. And then we're going to heel toe that foot over to the left hand. And then we're going to come into pigeon pose. We're going to take a variation on pigeon pose. So take hold of the left foot and look over the left shoulder. So we're getting a stretch in this pose and really stretching out the glute in the right leg. And then let it go. Don't let it fling back. Look up. And then we're going to fold into a classic pigeon. If you can come down all the way, that's great. If you can't, you can use a bolster or you can just say sitting up because this stretch is quite strong. Make sure your heel isn't sickling, your foot isn't sickling on the right leg. So keep it working all the time to protect your knee. Okay, come up. And then we're going to put the heel under and come back under into downward dog. Just pedal out the legs. You should notice the difference in each side now. Okay, just find some stillness in this downward dog. And then we're going to come to the other side. So take the left foot to the outside of the left hand and just hold this variation on locust pose. Whatever you do, don't sink into the shoulders. You want to keep pushing up through the arms so we don't damage the shoulder joint. Now, go onto the blade of your left foot and open out that knee. You can also get a twist into the body here as well. So we're working, as we were before, many muscle groups. Bring it back. Take hold of the right foot with the left hand. Look over the left shoulder and let's get a twist and a stretch. And let go. And now we're coming to locust pose. If you can, come down onto the elbows. If you can't, just stay upright. And if you do feel comfortable enough, you can come all the way down with your head to the mat. But take it to where you can, so you're feeling a good stretch, but you don't want it to be so intense that it's giving you sharp pains or any electric type pains. This is your practice, so you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You take it to your level. You might be able to go more than me. Come up onto the hands, look back, and then we'll heel toe the foot, left foot over to the right hand, pigeon pose. We do that variation. So take hold of the right foot with the right hand and look over the shoulder. Getting a stretch into the quads. We're doing a lot of twists with this practice, which is really getting into those psoas muscles. As I said before, that's a really good habit to get into. And now fold forward, either onto a bolster, onto the floor, or if you want, you can stay upright. This is a very, very strong stretch in the outer thigh of the leg and into the glute. Keeping those glute muscles nice and strong and flexible can be an absolute godsend to keeping your hips in alignment. Okay, come back up, look up. Come to all fours. And now we're going to come into a yin pose, a froggy pose. So take your knees and your feet to 90 degrees. And then come onto the elbows, keeping your weight over the knee. So we're not tilting forward, the weight's not in the elbows. We're just using the elbows as support. And we're not tilting backwards, so we're not resting on the bottom. So all of the weight is going into opening up the groin here. If you can, put the head onto the hands, but if you can't, that's fine, stay upright. And if you can't come this far down, then you can go rest onto a cushion, bolster or a block. Again, modify this process as you need to. And breathe here. Really breathe into the sensations. It's a very strong groin opener and glute stretch and hamstring stretch. Also, make sure your feet are flexed back so you're not stressing out the knees. Okay, we're going to come into a variation on a half split. So I want you to sit onto the heel of the right leg and put the left leg forward. By sitting on the left heel, once again, we're going to massage out that bundle of nerves and then fold forward over the left leg into a half split. Come to where you can. If you can't reach your foot, it doesn't matter. If you can only fold down a couple of inches, that's fine. You don't have to get your head onto your knee. Come back up, look up, and we'll change legs. So this time we're going to sit onto the left heel. So we're massaging out that ganglia of nerves. Sit up straight, foot flex back on the right, and then fold over that right leg. Again, bring it to where you can, where it's comfortable and you're getting a good stretch without it being too painful. And every time you breathe out, you might find you can just get a little bit more fold. Okay, come back up, sit up. Now come to the front of the mat. I would take butterfly pose. So you can either take hold of your feet and open out the knees, or if you can't open them that much, hold on to the ankles and you can use your knees to open out use your elbows to open out the knees. And what you want to do is sit up as straight as you can, so you're sitting on your sitting bones with a beautiful straight back. The shoulders aren't hunched and you're sitting up as straight as you can. Okay, and now take your left leg out long, bring your right foot into your left groin, look over your right shoulder with a twist, and then keeping your left hand on your right knee, we're going to fold over to the left foot. Now, if you can only come a little way down, but you're getting that side bend, that's fine. Go to where you can. The side bend doesn't have to be dramatic as long as you are really feeling into that side. Again, this is a lot going on here. You're getting a stretch down that leg and a stretch all up the right hand side of the body. It doesn't matter if you can't reach your foot. Come back up and we'll take the counter twist again. So left hand to right knee. Look over that shoulder. And then take the legs wide-legged. Forward fold we're going to do. So sit up straight. Make sure you sat on the sitting bones. Take hold of the feet just to prepare us. If you can. If not, hold on to the thighs or the knees or the calves, wherever you can. I have a little bounce here just to feel into where I'm going to be able to get to. And then either bring your hands to the floor or you can say sitting upright if you're feeling enough stretch. What you need to do is make sure the feet are working. So they need to be flexed back and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And that way we're not doing any damage to joints in the ankles or the knees. Come back up to sitting and we're going to take the other stretch on the other side. So this time bring the right foot into the left groin. Look over the left shoulder. Keeping the right hand on the left knee, fold up and over to the right leg. And if you can't reach that foot, once again, that's fine. Just get that stretch to where you can, so you're feeling the stretch all up the left-hand side of the body and down the right leg. Again, keep that right leg working with the foot flexed back and the knee facing the ceiling. Keep breathing. Okay, come back up, take the counter twist over the left hand shoulder. Brilliant, you're doing really well. Okay, we're going to do fire log pose now. So bring your left foot parallel to the mat, the front of the mat, and take your right foot to the left knee, into the crook of the left knee, and we're going to keep both legs parallel, and we're going to do cow face arms. So that means the left arm is going to go for a clasp, the right one. If you can't do that, it's fine. Just take the arms behind the back or take a strap and then fold forward if you can. If the fold forward is too much in the legs, then just say sitting upright. If you can fold forward a little, then you're also getting a stretch in the back, the arms, the thighs, the glutes. Come back up, change sides. So we'll take the right foot to the bottom, to square to the front of the mat. Take the left foot on top, keeping them parallel, like logs stacked on a fire. This is not that easy a pose, so just go to where you can. And then take the right arm over and clasp with the left, bind with the left underneath. And then fold forward if you can. Just take it to where you can. You don't have to do the hand bind. You can just hold on to your arms behind your back. We're just trying to get a shoulder opener, an arm stretch, a back stretch and a leg stretch all in one. We're also getting compression, which is compressing and then stretching is a really, really good way to work out and flex and make the body find more range of movement. Okay, come out of that pose. And then we're just going to go onto our backs now along the mat. Take your right leg long. Raise your left leg towards the ceiling, and if you can take hold of your left foot, that's good. If not, take the back of your leg, your thigh, or your ankle, and we're working towards the leg being straight, but it doesn't matter if it's not. And then open up the left leg to the left, but gluing the right hip and the right shoulder to the floor. So the work is on the inner thigh of the left leg and a stretch in the arm. Bring it back in. And then bring that knee into the chest. Give it a good squeeze. And take it down and around the ribs and squeeze it into the armpit. And now rock that left leg over to the right and look over the left shoulder. We're getting a beautiful passive twist in the body. Bring it back, and we're going to do that on the other side. So raise the right leg, and if you can, take hold of the foot and straighten the leg. If you can't, you can keep a bend in the leg, or you can hold behind the thigh, behind the ankle, wherever you can get to, or you can use a strap. And then we're going to open that right foot out to the right hand side, and we're going to look over the left shoulder, gluing the left hip and the left shoulder to the floor, so all of the work is in the right leg here, the right inner thigh. Remember, only working the foot towards straight here, the leg towards straight. So do it to where you can. Okay, bring it back in and then press that knee towards your chest with your arms. Let the stretch off, bring it round the ribs and then stretch it, pull it in towards the armpit. Getting a really good hip opener here. And then twist it over to the left hand side, looking over the right shoulder, keeping the right shoulder on the floor. I love these passive twists. It's one of my favourite moves. You're getting a really nice stretch in the psoas, and you can have your hands at a goalpost or T in this pose. Come back to centre. And we're going to take happy baby pose. So take your feet put your hands inside your feet and take them from the outside, if that makes sense. So your arms are in between your legs and you take your feet from the outside. And then rock back side to side, just massaging out the spine now as we're coming to the end of this stretch practice. Straightening one leg if you can and then the other, heading towards straight. So straighten the right leg if you can, straighten the left leg if you can. Well done. Okay, and then hold on to your knees and really tuck the face into the knees now. Have a last squeeze and a stretch. And we're just going to rock and roll on our spines now before we come up to sitting. We'll just take some breaths here actually in Shavasana. Just let the arms fall open. You must remember to breathe during this practice. The more oxygen you get into the body, the easier it will be. Okay, now let's rock and roll on the spine. So rock up and back. Let's massage out that spine after all that work. And again, we'll do a couple more. Rock back, come up, and again, rock back, come up. Well done. And then meet me at the front of the mat in cross-leg pose or half lotus or full lotus. I'd like you to bring your hands together. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the divine light within you guide your way on. From my heart to yours, Namaste. Satnam.